Okay, you're muted and that's fine, but as long as you can hear us. Did we already call it, Madafo?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, we have called your case and we are on the record. We are here for a bond hearing on the state's motion to increase bond. Mr. Vandenberg, go right ahead.
Your Honor, I'm just going through the defendant's history right now. He has a 2004 conviction. The case is 2004-0D04106 for a sexual assault of a child. Again, that's a conviction. He also has a conviction for in 2012, 0D00991, failure to register in that matter. We also have a note here from the El Paso Police, Detective Rodriguez. This is from September 28th. They have another case pending that they're investigating, assault family household member that's still in the investigation stage. And they believe he has not registered as a sex offender currently, or as of September 28th. Those are concerns of the state. According to the notes I have, the CW in our current matter, 2023 0D04345, is the child who's listed as the victim in a 2006 conviction. In that matter, the judge refused to increase bond but agreed to PR. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but the different conditions on that. At the last hearing, apparently Mr. Rodriguez stood up in response to the arguments and was arguing with the
objection, Judge.
That's what I'm seeing here.
There was no arguing. I was there. That's false.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we've already litigated the motion to increase bond. Judge Speasy denied it, set it for this hearing so that the DA's office could submit a proposed PR bond order. And so I thought this was going to be a quick proposed PR bond order. I'm not prepared for another motion to increase the bond because Judge Speasy has already denied that motion. That was my understanding.
If there is to be a PR bond, the terms of the state would be UABAs twice a week, no offensive contact with the CW, especially at the residence on Kinross, KINROSS, and a curfew.
Mr. Rodriguez, please you're not helping. Please just relax, man. Could you take off your hat too?
So I unfortunately did not see that this was on YouTube. I didn't go back and review it, and I hear some. I mean, so did Judge Speasy deny your motion? Was this already heard last week?
It was. Chantel Ortega was the attorney for the state, and the motion to increase bond was denied. But Judge Speasy said to set it for a week so that the DA's office could send in a proposed PR bond order. So he denied the motion to increase the surety bond. Nothing's changed since that surety bond has been in place.
What about the two new arrests or the two new cases? Or at least one new arrest? I don't know, they haven't completed their investigation on the AFV.
Well, the bond, the protective order has expired, Judge.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Judge.
Yeah, but he bonded out, the offense on that one, what's the offense date? September 2nd or 3rd, something like that, September 3rd. He bonded out 5,000 cash surety. Did you all discuss that in the bond hearing last week?
Yeah, we discussed all of it, Judge, and the complaining witness is his wife. And they've got kids. And she's I don't know, Judge. If she wants, we're okay with the PR bond, Judge, but we think.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm not okay with him picking up violations of protective order while this case is pending, and now I'm hearing they're looking at another assault, family violence, I'm assuming against the same complainant. Is that correct?
Well, and I would say that that's hearsay, Judge, and it's speculation. I don't think there's any actual formal charges. And I haven't seen any reports.
Yeah, I don't know that it doesn't state who the CW and the new investigation is, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm looking at the VPO arrest. I don't know about the AFV. Let me go back here. September 3rd. Officer, July 19th. The warrant is from July 19th. Bond $5,000. I don't see the complaint affidavit. The victim is an individual, Moreno. Is that the same person?
Shelley,
Okay, so what's going on with the VPO case, Mr. Vandenberg? Where is it?
let me see. Probably not a lot of information since it's in a P-file status, Your Honor.
What does that mean? It hasn't been presented to your office?
That's correct.
Let me see one other thing. Is the June 13th or 14th AFV, is that ours? Let me go back to the indictment.
Well, I do have information about that, Your Honor, in terms of the police.
That one is ours. Okay. Well, I mean, if Judge Speasney denied your motion to increase bond, then that's been heard. I didn't see, I'm not quite sure why it was reset for a bond hearing unless the state had asked for a reconsideration of that. I didn't review it. If it was on YouTube, I didn't review it. And certainly I had not been alerted to request any type of record.
Judge, it was in person last week.
Mhm.
And Judge Speasney reset it so that the DA's office can submit a proposed PR bond order.
Well, then I need to know what his order was, because I'm hearing two things. I'm hearing he denied the request to increase bond, but then reset it to get to consider a PR component. I'll be very honest, I'm ready to pull his bond because he's picking up new cases.
Your Honor, in this this P file, the victim is the ex-wife of the offender.
Yeah, I'm ready to pull his bond, Mr. Huffman. So they may not have given granted the request to increase the bond, but he's not he's got a lot of red flags on this bond. So
Judge, he's doing well, Your Honor. He's working. He's providing for his children. He's trying. He appeared in court last week. He's going to appear at all our court hearings.
well, let me ask, is he going to keep picking up cases while we're waiting for some resolution? Well, you're shaking your head no, Mr. Rodriguez, and you know your behavior, even though I can't hear you, is very animated. I don't want to read too much into that, but it's not, it tells me you have an issue controlling your behavior.
Judge, and I think it's a lot of frustration, Judge. The case that the state is bringing up and always likes to bring up is the sexual assault.
I understand the basis.
Judge.
I understand the basis that they're asking in terms of the past criminal history. Look, what I am looking at is his behavior since he's on bond here. If Judge Speasney denied the request to increase bond, I'm not inclined to hear that anymore. But I am concerned about his behavior while he is awaiting trial, and that I have now a VPO and potentially another assault family violence in a matter of 2 months. So for right now, Miss Deborah, I'm going to assume it was you that was here for that hearing since you were nodding your head. I am going to ask for the transcript on that hearing. Number one. And I will bring you all back if there is something that we need to continue on, or if Judge Spiesny firmly denied it, I'll leave that alone. But we are going to put a $15,000 PR bond on Mr. Rodriguez to include monthly reporting, no offensive. Do they live together?
No,
But they have 3 kids together. Is that what it is?
that is correct.
No offensive contact. If there is any protective order, old or one that comes up because there are these new incidents, he is to abide by all terms of any protective orders that are active while this case is pretrial.
And
That'll be a condition of his bond.
it's our understanding that the protective order has since expired.
I know, but if he's got another AFV that ends up getting presented to the DA's office and accepted, I gotta think there will be a protective order there, and those conditions will be part of his bond on this case. He has a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. unless he is working or going to school. He is to use, are there any concerns about drug or alcohol use in any of these allegations?
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
Okay, curfew, but you are to use no illegal drug or alcohol, and you are subject to testing. And of course, you must appear and not commit any new offenses. And so you understand, and so we're clear, Mr. Huffman. I'm still pending checking the transcript on the previous hearing, so I'm not telling you anything about his old bond. If it's as you stated, then what I am aware of right now is a VPOP file and an AFV, okay? So I'm probably gonna forget, you can remind me. When and if he gets booked on the assault family violence, I know about that one already, okay? I know about that one. So I would encourage you to advise your client to behave, and we'll see what happens after I look at that transcript, okay?
Yeah, I understood, Judge. I'll talk to Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, I'll call you right now. We'll talk.
Let's also, well, no, can't do that. Are they doing anything with respect to like seeing the kids? I mean, they're exchanging the kids between one another, or is there somebody helping?
Yeah, Judge, they talk every day. I mean, that's he spends a lot of time with the kids. He's paying child support for the kids, and they talk every day. I mean,
I'll leave the PR bond order as is. Okay. So far that's what's the only thing that we're adding to it. If I need you all to come back, I will set you for hearing. Okay. All right. Thank you. Are we near Mr. Velarde's case? Because he's been here a long time.
He's his next judge. I'm bringing in his client.
Okay. Now this one I did see on Zoom. Is this our Spain world traveler that's on probation? Yes, I see nods. Okay.
Your Honor, and Ms. Torres, the probation officer, she had been covering and attending. However, she was going to be out today, so I told her I would cover for her.
Okay.
Her information is on the summary, but
okay, let's go.
In cause number 2018-0D01605, State of Texas versus Sergio Machado. Announcement of council, please.
David Vandenberg on behalf of the state. State is ready.
Mr. Velarde, you're muted.
Me. Yes, Judge. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Ray Velarde appearing on behalf of Sergio Machado. We're ready.
Okay. And we are set. I guess it's a continuation. I'm not really sure. I don't recall the outcome. I just remember watching.
It's been continued twice.
Okay. We're here for modification of the terms and conditions of probation. Is the crux of the request, Mr. Velarde, to remove the monitor?
That's all, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Vandenberg, I'll hear from you first. Any position?
Well, the difficulty with this is that the terms of the probation were, terms of the probation were that he was to stay in Spain. That has not occurred. And if there needs to be a modification, the modification needs to occur before any kind of world travel that Mr. Machado has gone into. So we don't object to the modification at this time. However, there has to be be done before the court, and the court has to approve these types of things. And Mr. Machado has to recognize the authority of the court over his probation. That
So
is
let
it.
me see if I understand you. You're saying you do not oppose removing alcohol monitor on a DWI third, but you do oppose his ability to travel for work
No,
internationally?
we don't object. We do object to having the monitor removed for alcohol.
Okay,
I did not address that before you.
okay. All right, the recommendation from probation is obviously they're opposing the removal of the device. Mr. Valarte?
Judge, as a preliminary matter, since Mr. Vandenberg brought up the issue of his travel to New Delhi, I made the court aware 7 years ago, or I'm sorry, 5 years ago, when he was placed on probation, that he worked in Spain. He's the country manager for the company that he works for in Spain and Portugal. And from time to time, he has to travel to the home offices in Southeast Asia. They have offices in New Delhi, India. The first time we continued this case, it got continued because he was traveling for work to New Delhi, and his work was only a couple of days, and then he returned back. He's not a world traveler, he works. But that aside, Your Honor, with respect to the amended motion to modify the terms and conditions of probation, I understand that probation and the state are opposed. However, quite frankly, they haven't advanced any real substantial reason for that, other than the fact that they just are not in agreement. I would submit to Your Honor, this is a very unique case, Your Honor. He was placed on probation 5 years ago. The terms and conditions of probation call for him to be placed on probation for 7 years and to comply with a set of conditions. Those conditions, Your Honor, included him obtaining the Smart Start mobile device, performing 100 hours of community service, paying a $10,000 fine, paying his court cost, and of course, paying for all the monthly probation supervision fees. Mr. Machado has complied 100% with respect to all of this. He obtained the Smart Start mobile device immediately and has remained on that smart mobile device for over 5 years. And in all those 5 years, Your Honor, he has been 100% compliant. 100% compliant.
Let me stop you right there, because I'm looking at
Yes.
a case summary here. And the first thing I see is that he failed to report for the months of July and August. That's this year.
No, Judge. I can address that.
Yes.
Okay. The last time he reported was in June of this past year.
Mhm.
And when he reported to Ms. Torres in June, he was not given another date. How they came up with these dates is beyond me, because Mr. Machado has been very dutifully compliant. He would have reported, but he has not received any more appointments. Matter of fact, whenever he calls, most of his calls go unanswered. Last week, Ms. Torres called him out of the clear blue and told him, you need to submit to a UT test, meaning a lab test, which he submitted immediately within 24 hours. So he's been fully compliant. If there's a disconnect with respect to that, it's been very, very aberrant. That does not speak of the compliance that he has performed. And
So-
I would argue, Your Honor, notwithstanding what the court is pointing out, Mr. Machado has been a model probationer. I just heard you talk about other cases involving people on probation. Well, I too have those clients that don't comply. But in this case, he has been fully compliant. And 5 years has been more than enough. I think this court can rely on his good faith compliance as support for removing it.
So a couple of things. Let me get some information from Ms. Pineda. Ms. Pineda, what about this? I mean, the case summary clearly says Mr. Machado failed to report. Let me ask about, I guess, the logistics of how that gets done. So for example, is Mr. Machado relying on probation monthly to provide him with a date to call in, an appointment to call in? I mean, I don't think it's a fair assumption to say like, well, she never told me I had an appointment, so I didn't check in. But if that's how it works, it doesn't to me relinquish his responsibility, but maybe that explains the disconnect. How does it work, Carla?
Your Honor, what I see is that every so often that Mr. Machado reports in person or is in town in El Paso County, Texas, that's when he reports in person to the probation department. The last time he reported was in person was June 5th, 2023. I know what I see is he emails Ms. Torres about every 6 weeks, and that's how the reporting appointments are.
So are you telling me that his reporting is only happening when he is in town? Is he not like phoning in and speaking with a probation officer?
No, Judge, there are phone calls.
Okay, so why didn't phone calls happen in July and August? That's what I want to know.
Mr. Machado is present, Your Honor, if you want to ask him.
I see, but I want to hear what probation has.
That, Your Honor, I do not have any.
Do you have any record of any previous phone check-in? So I can understand how that is accomplished. Like, does Mr. Machado have an outstanding obligation to call on the 5th of the month every month, and it just so happens he was in town in June, and that's why he did that in person? I'm trying to understand how we're having the phone reporting happen.
Let me see. The past couple of months, Your Honor, it reflects he was reporting by Teams report. That's what I see, like February, March, April.
I just don't have an understanding of why, if he wasn't doing it in person, right, why we don't have July and August. Doesn't make a lot of sense if there's no more detail than that from Ms. Torres. But with that said, Mr. Velarde and Mr. Machado, I have some other things here from early in the year, skips. I'm not seeing any positives. It looks like he was admonished at the beginning of the year as well. Here's the thing. Here's the crux of what I am going to tell you is there is zero chance I'm going to remove the monitor while he is on probation. My understanding, and I may be a little inaccurate on this, that this plea had a high fine, had a lot of leeway for Mr. Machado, and I was in the process of looking to see if this was a true third. Was it a true third?
Yes, Your Honor. I was just checking that.
Okay. In other words, there were so many terms of his probation that were tailored for that compliance, and the monitor was one. I think there was a whole bunch of discussion about even if he could be service, if the monitor could be service being international, but I am not going to remove the monitor. How often are you testing, Mr. Machado?
Every day, Your Honor, 3 times a day.
3 times a day? Okay. What is the reason to have the monitor removed? Only because he's been somewhat compliant?
Your Honor, he travels to a lot of places. A lot of times there's problems with the technology being one. And having to blow into a machine 3 times a day, Your Honor, is kind of oppressive.
So does he have a physical, portable monitor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
He carries it around with him. Now, the other thing I was going to suggest, and they just opened up that door this week, on Monday the 2nd, Ms. Torres gets a hold of him. He's always accessible. And he told him, go get a lab test right now. And he immediately went and got it. And he showed them, look, negative. We can do other less intrusive procedures. He knows that he can get checked on right away, and he has to go within 24 hours, go get tested.
Let me ask this, Ms. Pineda, is this monitor the one he has? I know, Mr. Machado, you put it up right now. Is it one that has a GPS component?
It should, Your Honor, because it's a smart start.
Okay. That's another reason I like that. Look, I'm gonna keep the monitor. I was starting to think if there was some way. I understand that there's like things on your cell phone you can do now. I'm not really sure. There's like all these new, maybe less obvious ways. That what I'm seeing does not look too cumbersome but what I will do is this, I will reduce his test times to twice a day. So once every 12 hours. So we can do that if that's helpful, but I'm not going to remove it. It's a DWI third. It was firmly a part of his original plea in his agreement with the court. He is given quite a bit of flexibility in terms of, not having to remain in the country, not having to all kinds of things. And I simply, Mr. Velarde, I do not remove monitors on DWI thirds. But I will make it less, having to do it in the middle of the day, Mr. Machado, so I'll reduce his test windows to 2 times a day. The other thing is, I need to get some confirmation and clarity from Ms. Torres about the manner in which he is reporting. I'm failing to understand why we don't have something, if he's already, reporting by teams, that he reports either by phone or by Teams every whatever, first Monday of the month, second Tuesday, I don't care what it is, but something that is consistent. So Mr. Machado knows, he checks in, and there's no issue of waiting on whether they get set an appointment or not. There shouldn't, I don't really think we have an issue in terms of his compliance. I don't think we have an issue in terms of his compliance. So if it's a matter of he didn't get a call about an appointment, that shouldn't be the case. It just should be set. So at the very least, I would like to see, next 6 months of what his report dates are. He can do all of that via Teams. It really doesn't even bother me if he doesn't report in person. It's convenient if he's in town that he does that. I think that's shows a lot, but I am not going to remove the monitor. Mr. Machado, you maintain that monitor. And we can modify the testing. Okay.
Judge, thank you very much then.
Thank you for your time. Ms. Pineda, please let Ms. Torres know to provide me that information. Okay.
Your Honor, with respect, can I check with Mr. Machado to see which reporting period we're going to be eliminating?
Do you have the windows, Carla?
5 to 8, 2 to 5, and 9 to 12.
Yes.
Mr. Machado, can he let us know what times he wants to test?
For my purposes, it would be the middle window. That I would assume if interferes less with work. And are those his times? Are those like, it's not our time, is it? Yes, it's your times, Mr. Machado. Okay, cool. All right, we'll eliminate the middle window.
Judge, thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Velarde, just to
Dígame.
remind the court and Mr. Machado and Mr. Velarde, the only thing Mr. Machado does have outstanding still, I know he still has 2 more years, but he still lacks the 10 ACOP days. Just reminding.
Wait a minute.
This days to do as a condition of probation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The ACOP. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Mr. Machado, there are still days that you have to do in jail. Court is very flexible. So if there are times when you're in town and, I don't care if you split them up. Okay. If you come in and you're doing a weekend, you do a work, however you want to do it, but you have to have those completed by the end of your probation. Okay. All righty. All righty.
Thank you much. Adios.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Machado. Who's next?
Bye-bye.
Right below it, Judge, Hector Mendoza, Judge. I'm bringing it
Honor.
right now.
May I ask a question, please?
Uh-huh.
We have hearings in Bucatmi today. Ms. Caballero and I met with you earlier. I thought we resolved these.
So there were some things I do want to get on the record, and I see we're running a little behind. Is Ms. Caballero there?
I believe so.
Your Honor, I am, but I assumed that it was off.
No.
And, okay.
Okay, so there were things that we discussed. I know we had discussed the continuance. You all were in agreement and in that sense, but there were some discovery issues I think you all brought up regarding a disc, so I want to get updates on those. Let's call those first.
Oh, I dropped off. Okay.
Okay, Judge.
Uh-huh.
In cause number 2021-0D03104 and 2021-0D03105, State of Texas versus Abzernak Woodkami. Announcement of council, please.
David Vandenberg on behalf of the state is ready.
Teresa Caviero on behalf of my client AB, and I'm trying to enable my camera and it's not coming up. Oh, here.
And your client is also here appearing remotely. We are
Yes, Your
scheduled
Honor.
today for a hearing on a motion for continuance. Mr. Bukami, just so you know, your attorney and the state were conferencing informally this week regarding the continuance. It is agreed. This case has been pending for quite a while, but the court, of course, is going to grant the continuance. I'm assuming you're in agreement with that.
That is
Mr.
correct.
Bukami?
That is
Okay.
correct. That is correct.
Okay, so with that said, I think part of that reset, I think we had discussed, I don't think we already have another day, but we had talked late summer next
Yes,
year.
Your Honor.
So we'll get you all specially set under the same whole rubric of multiple days of jury selection and other agreements. But what we also discussed was some outstanding matters with respect to discovery. So I'd like to get an update on that. I understand the state has provided the entire internal affairs files on these cases to counsel. And what else do we have outstanding?
I can weigh in on that, Your Honor. That's true. And there are 2 videos in that IA file that we cannot open. Mr. Vandenberg is aware of it. We dropped off a USB at his office yesterday, and I sent him a little note today saying it was up there. And I'm also going to get with him to come down to his offices and view these videos. But we're going to take care of that long before the next setting, probably before the end of October.
Okay. Let me ask, I can't remember. I don't think we picked a date. Did we, Myrna?
No, Your Honor. You said
we know?
summertime.
Yeah. Do we know what's available? I do want to specially set this. It was special. So what I would like to do once we get that setting is bring you all in for one status. Miss Caballero, do you need any more like 2801 deadline, anything like that?
Not at this point.
Okay, so I want to set you all for a status in February of 2024. That'll
Okay.
be February 13th. We'll do that at 10
Okay.
a.m.
Okay.
Those will generally be in person, but obviously your client, I'm not going to require that he be here.
Thank
for that,
you.
But you want
Thank you.
And then from there, you'll probably see a couple more hearings, including the final hearing plea deadline before your trial setting, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
We'll get you the settings. Was there anything else outstanding?
No, there wasn't.
Mr. Vandenberg?
Not from the state.
Okay, thank you for your time today,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Dami. You are excused.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Mendoza, Judge.
Okay.
I can name him right now.
Mhm.
Mr. Hoffman, are you there?
Yes, sir.
In cause number 2022-0D03508, State of Texas versus Hector Elias Mendoza. Announcement of council, please.
David Vandenberg on behalf of the state is ready.
Rick Huffman on behalf of Mr. Mendoza, we're ready.
And we're here for a status hearing. Let me look this one up. What were you here for?
I'm not sure, Judge. The current offers bid for dismissal. Mr. Mendoza, I believe, has completed 14 classes, so he's almost there.
Okay,
That's-
and it's about, so he's a little more than halfway through?
He's just lacking one more month.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I think that's all we were gonna check. Is that right?
That's my understanding, Your Honor.
Okay, well, we have our final hearing plea deadline and jury trial at the beginning of December. Sounds like we should be getting, this is for a dismissal, so it sounds like we'll see that dismissal before. All right, okay. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. Thank you for staying on top of that. All right, thank you, Mr. Huffman. Who's next?
Judge, it should be the last one, Mr. Soto, and I need to identify the Galaxy user that might. be-
Okay. Was Mr. Soto an add-on?
Yes, Judge.
What's the cause number?
The cause number is 2019
Mhm.
0D0
Mhm.
7032.
Thank you. You're all right, Deborah Lee? 2019-030-7032. Yes, I remember.
Mr. Maruba, what page is this on?
should
It
be
was
the
an
add-on.
It was an add-on, Mr. Vandenberg, Ron Soto. So it's 2019-0D-07032. It's a probation case.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marujo.
In cause number 2019-0D-07032, State of Texas versus Jose Manuel Soto, announcement of council.
David Vandenberg, on behalf of the state is ready.
Leanne Luna with adult probation, Your Honor.
Mr. Cifuentes was waving. Is he here for Mr. Soto?
Correct, Judge.
Okay.
My apologies.
And you know what? I saw Mr. Saroldi, Ortiz Saroldi here. Is he not going to be here for Mr. Soto?
He logged out, Judge. I don't know if he was still representing Mr. Soto.
Okay. Okay, so if we can get Mr. Cifuentes set up.
Yes, Judge.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Saroldi does know about the hearing because they checked on it yesterday.
He does, yeah. So I thought he needed to be here.
Señor
Yes, sir.
Sí. Sí, bueno.
Is he responding to anything? No, maybe we turn off the function. Do we need?
Bueno.
Señor Soto, ¿sí me escucha?
Sí, sí lo escucho.
Okay, Mr. Cifuentes, you're probably better at it than I am. Can you try? Can you turn off the function, please?
Yes, Judge. It's off, Judge.
Okay. Señor Soto, ¿sí me puede escuchar bien?
Sí, señor.
Sí le sabe bien a su teléfono, ¿lo tiene en español o en inglés?
En español.
Mire, hay unos 3 puntitos ahí en el teléfono, en la pantalla, y la interpretación aún no está disponible, pero va a seleccionar esos 3 puntos cuando aparezca el mensaje en su pantalla. Va a aparecer un mensaje. Todavía no está el mensaje ahí.
Ajá.
Va a aparecer esos 3 puntitos, va a seleccionar interpretación de idiomas y luego el español. Esos son los 3 pasos que va a seguir. Va a aparecer un mensaje en la pantalla cuando ya esté disponible.
Okay.
So
Let's
now
give
we
it a shot.
start the function.
Yes, let's give it a shot.
It sounds simple, right? But not always.
Sí.
Thank you.
Le digo que ya. Ok, ya. Haga clic. ¿Ya? Sí, señor. Sí, está bien.
Okay, what about Mr. Ortiz? Did we get any update?
Yes, Judge. His office said here that we're going to contact to have him log back in, Judge.
Okay. So is this the only one pending?